Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Jumpsuit episode 4. If you hadn't seen the rest, might want to go do that. I am up pretty early, or I got up pretty early this morning. Just had some breakfast, a strawberry cheesecake waffle. Now, I'm probably making it sound a little more luxurious than it was. It was just the Eggo toaster waffle, but it was strawberry cheesecake flavor. Really good. And a couple people have asked me, Jumpsuit, when you're doing your morning coffee episodes, what kind of coffee are you drinking? Well, me and Ariel, we were drinking, I think we would get like the Starbucks that you buy in the store, the espresso dark roast stuff. But I don't know. I think when you drink the same kind of coffee for so long, it quits kicking. You get used to it. But I had a guy about a month ago sent me a couple bags of coffee from his company, and we've been hooked on that ever since. And it's kind of fitting for this because this, for instance, this is probably our favorite, me and Ariel. Now, I mean, if you go on the website, you'll get lost for like 30 minutes looking at it. They got like pages of just flavors you never heard of with coffee. For instance, this is Breakfast with Elvis that I'm drinking right now. Very fitting because, as you know, my dad, we like to talk about him a lot on here, some good stories, and he's a huge Elvis Presley fan. But it's like it's got the flavor is peanut butter, banana, and like a hint of cinnamon. And I don't really like cinnamon that much, but it's not that bad. So, but altogether, it's really, really good. So we've been hooked on that. So if you want to try some breakfast with Elvis, or I'm telling you, it's not just like decaf, dark roast, and when you're feeling wacky, breakfast with Elvis. No, they got like 7 pages of like just as unique flavor combinations. It's Premium Coffee 814. It's like out of the Pennsylvania area. Premiumcoffee814.com. If you want to try some breakfast with Elvis, that's what I like to drink, and that's what's got me up and talkative this morning. So, my dad. Oh, I got some stories locked and loaded ready for you guys. My sisters have been watching the episodes lately, and they all really love it. They love to watch and just reminisce on it. Of course, I'm pretty sure all their favorites is episode 1, where we're talking the most about my dad. And I think we went through a whole thing about how he was with, in the baseball and stuff. And I really enjoyed that episode too. So just in honor of that, I think we're going to keep it going kind of in that direction with some basketball. That's right. I tried every sport there was pretty much as a kid. I was good at none except maybe tennis. I was actually really good at tennis. And I still am, except now I just play a little pickleball instead of tennis. That's the new thing. But yeah, basketball as a kid. So that's what we'll be talking about mainly here today. And, of course, if you did hear that episode, then you already know my dad has always been very competitive. Now, I mean, like wintertime as kids, wintertime, when we go out to have a snowball fight with him. And when we get out there, he would immediately go like start stacking up inventory on snowballs. But he wouldn't just he'd craft like 6, 7 snowballs off top. But they weren't exactly snowballs, your classic, Frosty the Snowman, throwing little harmless snowballs. He would go to like, how some of that snow can kind of melt a little or whatever, and it becomes ice. He'd make these like ice slush, like the slushy ice balls they'd get really hard and heavy when you compacted them. And then for a little extra oomph, we had like a gravel driveway. It was asphalt, but there was a lot of like loose gravel, the little pebbles, little gravel rocks. He'd take like a little piece of gravel or something, just kind of just slide one on in there just for a little extra oomph. Patch up the hole, and man, he would come out of there with about 6 of them and just start throwing heaters at us, picking us off. Pow! Thing just explodes on your head and a little rock bounce. Dad! You start crying, go inside. He would. It'd be him versus all of us, me and my 3 sisters. So he would just he would pick us off. So no mercy on any type of competition. Okay. Now, basketball, like I said, I was not very good at basketball at all. And we're talking, I guess the little league equivalent is like the church basketball. I hadn't heard of any like non-church basketball, little league basketball around here. So it was all like church ball. And it's funny, my dad would always, he is a preacher, so he would always volunteer himself to be the team chaplain. He called, I'm the team chaplain. But no one would ever ask him to be the team chaplain. The coach wouldn't, hey, Preacher Paul, man, how about, what? How about we nominate you as team chaplain? No, he would just like show up to practice with me, and he would just walk over there to the huddle and stand by the coach and be like, yeah, as team chaplain, I say, I'll go ahead and start off our practice with a prayer. He would just volunteer himself, nominate himself, which it was church ball, so no one cared, nobody minded that, but it's not like, he just showed up and the coach was like, hey, Preacher Paul's here. It was a small town. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows he's preaching. Hey, Preacher Paul's here. How about it? Hey, Preacher Paul, I bet you can give us a good old prayer to start this practice. How about you come on? No, he just, as team chaplain. Okay. But yeah, he very involved, and disappointingly, once again, I stunk. But see, I was good at one thing. I could dribble. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't pass. I couldn't get rebounds, but I could dribble. And here's why: because we had a basketball goal, but I never even used it. I would just, as a kid, I would constantly go outside with a basketball and just dribble in the driveway. And I wasn't doing it because I love dribbling. I love basketball. I just love this game so much. I want to really improve my dribbling skills. No, it was like, that was kind of just like my little spot. It's kind of like going for a long drive, but I was a kid, so I couldn't go for a long drive. I'd just go out in the driveway and just kind of just dribble in circles and dribble up and down the driveway all the time and just kind of, be alone with my thoughts. I remember, like, I was known. I was the kid. I was the kid in the neighborhood who was always dribbling his basketball. Probably during hours that people didn't want to hear dribbling echoing in the neighborhood all the time. I remember there was like a stray cat, or not a stray cat, but there was a cat and had a collar, so I knew it wasn't a stray. It's like orange cat, and it was just roaming around near our yard, and so I picked it up, and I started going door to door down the street to ask if this was anyone's cat. And I went to this one house. It was about like 5-6 houses down, and I rung the doorbell a couple times. Nobody came to the door, so I started walking off with the cat, and I heard this voice suddenly behind me. Hey, where are you going with Goober? I turned around, and it was like the guy. He had finally come to the door, and I was like, Goober? Well, first stop that I'm taking him to is the new name department, because that's just criminal. You named your cat Goober. But no, I gave him back to him. I was just, trying to see whose it was. And he was like, hey, no, I recognize you. You're that kid. You're that kid who's always dribbling. And he wasn't angry, but he was like, you're that kid who's always dribbling in his driveway. Yeah, I know you. So I was like, I was dribble kid. I was Dribbles. Dribbles McGee. Don't worry. I'm not going to score any points. I will dribble around you in a circle. You're not going to be able to stop it. You're not. Okay, so I was Mr. Dribbles. I could dribble. And that's what I brought to the team. It wasn't. I'm not saying that was a valuable asset to bring to the basketball team, but that's what I brought, nevertheless. And so that whole season, I just stunk. Nobody was out there. Oh, Dribbles has the ball. Watch out. He's going to safely and securely get it from this side of the court to this side of the court. We're finished. So, that season just didn't go well. But the next season, I had like this growth spurt. Let me have some of my breakfast with Elvis real quick. I had this growth spurt. Now, I wasn't just, the tallest thing on the court, but I was probably the second tallest thing on the court at any given game. And, of course, this helped a lot. It's basketball. And still, I couldn't shoot. I had improved None. Just like in baseball season. Like the next season came, I had practiced like none. My dribbling didn't lose a fraction of skill in my dribbling, don't you worry. But didn't improve my shot, couldn't do a layup, couldn't hit a three, couldn't, I wasn't Mr. Pass, assist, and all that stuff. Wasn't really good at anything. But now I was really, really good at stealing the ball, and not so much like stealing it from some guy dribbling, but like I don't know. That season just went really well for me. And I actually became like a starting five. I was important. I was a starting five guy, not because I would get points or anything, but because I'd kind of be on the outside perimeter of the court, and I could tell when these guys were about to pass the ball to whoever was kind of, I'm in between the guy with the ball and this guy. And I would kind of just like, I was able to get just close enough to where I could make a mad dash when that ball got passed and kind of just intercept it. But I wasn't too close to where the guy was like, better not pass it there, because that guy looks like he's about, I had these really long arms. So I could just shoot out like Inspector Gadget. Go, Gadget, steal the ball. And these guys would always pass. And I mean, like clockwork, I can't tell you how many steals I had per game just from doing that, just from being able to get that close. And like that's all I could do. But that was enough because, hey, we're getting the ball. And then my job, way to go. You got the ball. Now get rid of it. Get it to somebody who actually can do something with it. Dribbles. So, but yeah, so I was really important because I could do that, so that felt good. Don't think I ever made any baskets per game. Maybe one. If I made a basket in a game, like that was we all knew that I was going to get some steals. We knew that. If I could make a basket, that was a really good game. So there was that. But then the third year, this is when things just, it kind of went back downhill. And I'm still really young. And I guess everyone else kind of had some growth and they kind of all caught up. And I wasn't, I wasn't so tall anymore. I didn't have this advantage. And I don't know, man. I don't know if they just like started rewatching film of my stealing tactics. Like they had to break me down and study me as a ball stealing specimen. Because that next season, nobody was falling for it. I didn't get any steals. So now I was just back to not having anything useful to the team. And my dad, man, he was so proud of the previous season, how well I could, steal that ball and stuff. And, man, so this one, he doesn't really have anything to cheer for because I'm not able to do anything. And so he gets in his coaching mode, he's never played ball for any type of, school to anything in his life. So I don't know where his credentials came from, but he gets into coaching mode. Not only is he the team chaplain, he's now a coach. And he would get fired up and he would tell me, Paul, he'd be on the sidelines, Paul, get your hands up. I'm like, we're not even on defense. It's why do I need my hand? He like took me home. We drove home one day and he like pretty much hammered it in me that from now on, this is where things got wacky. From now on, anytime that my team doesn't have the ball, my hands have to be up in the air 24/7, like just constantly up in the air. And that may, for a second, that may sound to you like, oh, good old coaching, good strategy, get your hands up, defense, you know what I mean? Block some stuff. Yeah. Play some good D. No, it's like he literally meant if my team doesn't have the ball, my hands have to be up. That means if I'm running back to the other end of the court, I had to run like this. Like I'm running down. So you just see me walking, but I'd just be going down the court. Everyone would be like, what's wrong with that kid? And then I'd be like, how in basketball, like they don't always just, your team makes a basket, you hand it to the other guy and everyone, your team runs back to get on defense. And then they kind of just bring the ball back down. They don't always just beeline it down the court and go straight for the basket, to where it makes sense to immediately have my hands up before they even make it halfway across the court. Like sometimes, like they'd be like just walking the ball, kind of taking it slow, sizing everything up. Let's see who we're gonna pass, who's open. They'd be kind of looking. I'd just be over there, like literally the furthest away from any action that's about to happen whatsoever. Just hands just up because I had to. And if I didn't, you'd hear him on the side, pow, pow, get your hands up. So there was that. But believe it or not, I was not the goofiest kid on that team that season. There was another kid, and he was actually one of my friends from church. His name was Jacob. Jacob was pretty short. But Jacob, man, he was that kid. You go to his house. His dad's like a doctor or something. So, like, literally, you go to his house and, like, everything about it is better than yours. He's got a tree house, and I always wanted a tree house. He's got a tree house. He's got all the super soakers in some big tub in his garage. I don't have any super soakers. And then, you're like, let's go play video games or something. He's like, all right, let's go downstairs. You go downstairs. It's not the basement. There's just an entire downstairs built. It's as his playroom. It's entirely for kids. There are closets full of like Thomas the Trains, boxes of Legos. There's like 3 different game consoles. There's like a foosball table. There's like literally the entire bottom floor of the house is his play den. So I'm just like, wow, but he wasn't very athletic or good at sports, but he did go to that church that we went to. And so he was on the church basketball team. Okay. So he used to skip down the court. He would just skip. Whenever we're running, anytime running up and down the court, we'd all be, we're sweating, you know what I mean? And he's just skipping, literally skipping to his loo up and down the court. And it was, people would all, apparently, when I got older, I was told that people like parents in the stands would be like, why is that kid always skipping? And I'm sure they said just as much about me, because then our saving grace, we had one kid who was very good, very, very good, named Joseph. And Joseph could just like hit 3-pointers all day long. Like his dad was like the high school, like the local high school basketball coach. And like all his sons were like very, very good at basketball. The best kid on the team every year, so we had him, and he would get out there and like keep us alive in the game. So the whole time you got this one kid who's just killing it, nailing threes and just driving to the hole, layup and scoring. And then you got these other 2 just idiots. One kid going, just running all around the court, and the other kid's just skipping. So I can't imagine what we looked like. But that led to my dad. My dad always wanted to give people nicknames. It never failed. Just like he likes to come up with wacky colors for his shirt, he always wants to give people nicknames. And if you remember from my one story, we had, our neighbor, it was like one of my first friends, Steven, from across the street. And he let him come over, and he got in our pool, and he farted in our pool, and the bubbles came up, and my dad was like, Bubbles ain't allowed to come over here anymore. And forever, he was always known. If you're asking my dad, he's known as Bubbles. Saw old Bubbles over there riding his bike. Tell him to stay out of our pool. He's not coming back, Dad. But so, of course, he called this kid who would always skip up and down the court. He was Skippy. That was Skippy. So now I have my 2 childhood friends, Bubbles and Skippy. Bubbles and Skippy. And so here's the thing. I was so bad. Bubbles and Skippy. I swear, like he would come, and not just kids, like he would come up with nicknames for anybody. I remember one time we were we were at the house, and we had like some old chest of drawers or table or something that we didn't want anymore. And we were just, we carried it out to put it by the road, free to take, or, trash truck, whatever. So we just carried, and it was still in good shape. We just didn't want it anymore. And so we carried out this like dresser or chest of drawers and put it by the road. And as soon as we got done putting it by the road and got back into the house, we like just locked the door and kind of are still like looking out the window, and up comes this guy. He's like a jogger. He's out for his little daytime jog, and he's got like these, little running shorts and his shoes and a little watch and like a Walkman with his little, and he's got these shades on and like this little gelled hair with a visor, that gelled hair sticking out of the visor and the shades. He comes, jogging up to it, and then he's like, he like notices it, and he's just like jogging in place, kind of just looking at it, inspecting it. And my dad's like, oh brother, here comes Cool Breeze. Yeah, anytime we're driving and someone's like walking down the street, he's coming up with a nickname for him. So he came up with it. We had Bubbles and Skippy were my two friends. And then I got a nickname of my own pretty soon after that. And because I was so bad, I wasn't good, I wasn't starting five anymore like the previous season. I hardly got to play at all. So a lot of time I'd be sitting on the bench, and I was like, man, this stinks. This isn't fun. I didn't want to play anymore. My dad would still make me because he's very competitive. Every Saturday morning, come on, we were like a Greer, the city's Greer. We were the Greer Church basketball team, and the local Greer High School was the Yellow Jackets. So it was like gold and black were those colors. So we followed that, and our church jerseys were gold and black, or black with gold. Yeah, every Saturday morning, I never wanted to go. He'd, come on, Paul, get you mustard and get you mustard and blackberry jersey on, and let's go. But yeah, he would make me go, and I would just sit on the bench almost the whole game. But it's little league and it's church league, so you have to play everybody at least, for a little bit in the game. So I get a little time, and I just go out there, and I look like those like inflatable guys at the car lots who are just like that. And so I started getting really bored about halfway through the season. So I brought something to the game with me. And I had it in my pocket, and I don't know why I kept it in my pocket. I don't know why I didn't leave it in the bleachers. I don't know why I didn't leave it with my mom and get it after the game. One of those things. I know why the other thing I kept. And that's because I would get so bored on the sidelines. But anyway, so I was running up and down the court, my little hands up, and my shorts were just like, they had this, obviously there was something in my pocket, and it was like weighing my shorts down, and there was this huge swinging thing in my shorts pocket the whole time I was going up and down the court. And finally, like, it was so noticeable, the referee like blew his whistle, was like, time out, took like a ref timeout. Those don't even exist. I had to call a whole, like, hang on, pause the game. Come here, kid. What do you got in your shorts? Made me empty my shorts right there. And he pulled out a stick of deodorant, which I don't know why I had, because I don't even think I was old enough to like have like armpit body odor. Like, I wasn't even old enough for that. I don't know who even bought me that, because I don't think I even had odor, of that kind at that age. But he pulled out a stick of deodorant and a Game Boy. I had my big Game Boy in my pocket with deodorant. Not even one in one pocket and one in the other. I kind of balanced it out. Just both big rectangle objects in my shorts. So it was like weighing one side of my shorts down. I'm just going out there waving my arms. He like stops the whole game, pulls out right there in front of everybody in the crowd a speed stick and a Game Boy. And so from then on, seriously, the rest of the season, I was speed stick. And it wasn't because I was fast and shaped like a stick. It was because I got caught with that deodorant. But I had my Game Boy because I would get so bored. Oh, and one game I was just like, My dad was hurrying me up, trying to make me get ready and go. I didn't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm just going to be sitting on the bench the whole time. And then when I do get to play, I got to look like an idiot with my hands up. So I was like, man, I'm bringing my Game Boy, my little Pokemon game. Yeah, the rest of the season I was Speed Stick. So yeah, whenever all of the boys got together, we were Skippy, Bubbles, and Speed Stick. That was the crew. Watch out. But yeah, that was more or less my basketball career. Yeah, like I said, always very competitive. One time, he just little stuff. He would turn everything into a competition. One time it was like a Saturday morning, and we were about to, me and my sisters were about to go play outside, and he was like, hey, guys, I got a game. We're all gonna play, or us kids were gonna play, and he was just gonna stand there and watch. But he said, yeah, I got a game. We were like, oh, a game? No, yeah, cool, Dad. What is it? And he said, we're going to go in the yard and we're going to pick up dog poop, all the dog poop in the yard. And we were like, it's not a game. He was like, now, listen, whoever picks up the most dog poop at the end, once all of it's up, whoever has the most is going to win a prize. And that, he was smart. He knew how to get us, what is this going to be? Another, unlimited timer, no time limit shopping spree to Walmart, or maybe even, dare I say, Toys R Us. So we said, oh, a prize. We got really excited. And we we're like, oh, okay. Literally, me and my three sisters, we strapped up. We had a grocery bag each. I feel like every family has like spare grocery bags for just stuff. And so we all get a spare grocery bag. We go out in the yard and we book it out there. We are picking up dog poop. Of course, we have gloves. We got like yard gloves on. We are picking up dog poop. Yeah. And we are like, it's getting cutthroat out there. We're like knocking each other. No, I saw it first. We are trying to fill these bags with dog poop. Trying to be the one who wins this prize. And my oldest sister, she's the oldest. She had a little more smarts up there, and she had a good strategy. I'm not gonna lie, it was a brilliant strategy. Let's say we all picked up about 10 pieces of dog poop, give or take 9, 8, 10, 11, something like that. She took all 10 of hers and found like a stick and started breaking them in half, kind of just pushing with the stick to kind of split them, chopping wood, And so instantly, we weren't going by size or weight. We were going by how many pieces of dog poop you had. And so she broke up all of hers into 2s, maybe even 3. She had about 22 pieces of dog poop, a whopping haul. Blew us out of the water, smoked us. We didn't stand a chance. So, she says, of course she won, and she goes, Dad, what's my prize? And he says, well, the prize is now y'all get to go play in the yard and not have to worry about stepping in a bunch of dog poop and tracking it through the house. Thanks a lot, Dad. So, everything was a competition with that guy. But I can't say it. It certainly makes for something very interesting and funny to look back on these days. He just texted me, actually. It's so funny because, he likes to play pickleball. And we were going to play pickleball together. He's like 70, 71, something like that. He's still out there playing pickleball, but I think he hurt his shoulder a little bit. So we're not playing pickleball now. But he hasn't met Ariel yet. So he wants to have lunch. Like when Ariel gets off work tomorrow, we're going to see him and have lunch or dinner or whatever. And he sent me this text. He said, I still want to meet Ariel and see you both. If we can eat together Tuesday, I'll wear my Clemson orange or Furman purple. Like, why are you telling me? Why is that in the need to know data? Why is that included in the itinerary here? listen, pickleball's canceled, Paul. I hurt my shoulder, not going to be able to play for about a week. So, scratch that butt. Would love to have dinner and meet Ariel. So, hey, listen, if we can all get together Tuesday, just pay attention. I will be wearing my Clemson purple, my Clemson orange, or my Furman purple. And mind you, this is not. Yeah. First of all, why are you telling me that? It's not like we're matching. We're not all showing up wearing matching outfits. I don't need to know what you're dressing in. But, second, keep in mind, he's not talking about, he didn't say my Clemson shorts or my Furman sweatshirt. Furman, he went to college at Furman, which, if it's not a big college, so you may not know Furman, it's purple and white. Their colors are purple and white. They're the Furman Paladins. And that's where he graduated college from. And then Clemson, of course, the Clemson Tigers. I'm sure you know those. And they're orange, pretty much. And yeah, he's not talking about, like, I'll wear these aren't shorts or some sweatpants that have, like, Clemson University with the little mascot on them. He's not talking about a sweatshirt with, Furman University on there. He's talking about just a purple shirt or some orange shorts. And that's what he got. My Furman purple or my Clemson orange. That's what I'll be wearing. Like, it's just orange. And Clemson also, likes to, their colors are orange. It's not Clemson. They don't have their own special shade of orange. It's not like this very distinct shade of orange. And that's, I've only seen that on Clemson jerseys, athletic jerseys. So therefore that's Clemson orange. No, it's just orange. It's my Clemson orange. But I might stay tuned. I don't know. I might get a little wacky and wear my Furman purple. That's him. It doesn't stop. You can't make this stuff up. But yeah, he would do that with his ties too. He's a preacher, and so every Sunday he'd have like some new tie, and he'd name his tie too. I got my got my seafoam tie on. I used to get in trouble with him at church. That's where I would get in trouble at. If not school, because he worked there. So he, like, anytime I wasn't paying attention, he used to pop up, like in the, how the doors have like those little rectangular windows in like the school style classroom doors. He would just pop up. And if I wasn't like if there wasn't smoke coming off my pencil and paper from just how furiously I was working and taking notes, he would get mad. And I told you, he would always do, when he got mad, his little look, every parent has that look. His look was his biting of his tongue. So he would just go, he looks like he was constipated. That's what he would do. And I swear one time I was in class, and this was like 7th grade. So, like, old enough to be very embarrassed by this. I'm like sitting in class. We weren't even supposed to, like, we weren't working. We weren't supposed to be taking notes. Like, I don't remember what we were doing, but I wasn't doing anything wrong by sitting there and not, like, being, all up in my notebook writing and, solving math equations or whatever. Like, for whatever reason, we were, I think she was trying to, like, get her class work together to hand out to us. So we were just kind of sitting there waiting, and, like, I was just sitting there looking out the window for a second, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Paul, isn't that your dad?" And I'm like, "Oh God." I'm like, "What?" And I look over at the door, and he's just in the door going, the whole class is just looking at him, and I'm just like, yeah. So I would get in trouble at school, and then I would also get in trouble at church. But I wasn't trying to get in trouble at church. I was just a kid, and I just didn't. Okay, for instance, we had this, a family friend. All my sisters, we all had like one friend who could come over. And mine, Bubbles and Skippy weren't allowed for me. I had one more friend. He didn't have a nickname. He was just AJ. And, my dad liked AJ. AJ could come over and I could go to his house. And that was about the only house I could go over to. Couldn't go to Bubbles and Skippy. And, but so all of our sisters had like one friend who could come and go. And, my oldest sister, she had a friend named Laura. Excuse me. And, Laura She had spent the night Saturday night, so she had to go to church with us in the morning. And my dad would get there early to prepare. He's the preacher. He has to be there early. So me and my sisters and my mom and Laura, we all would come later around the time the service was starting. So we were on the way up there. And the last thing I just remember being said was Laura telling my mom something about how she had just started volunteering at they're in like high school or something. She had just started volunteering at an animal hospital around the city, being kind of like just learning or kind of following around the veterinarians. And, so she was working at a veterinarian hospital, whatever. And I don't know. That's just the last thing I remember her saying right before we got there. And it just stuck in my mind. And so we're in the service, and my dad, he makes his opening statements, and before he really gets into a sermon, he's like, all right, guys. And, of course, it was Memorial Day. So real quick, he's like, and also if we, in the church building here this morning, if we have any veterans, would you please stand so we can all, recognize you and just have a moment for you. And so like everyone starts standing up, and I'm like, Laura and my oldest sister are sitting behind me. So I'm like, stand up, Laura. I literally like shouted it out loud. I was like, stand up, Laura. Laura, stand up. Hey, stand up. Hey, she's a veteran. She's a veteran. I didn't realize that veterinarian and veteran were not the same thing. I didn't know what a veteran or veterinarian, I didn't know why we were having this holiday to honor veterinarians, but I think we should. We should make that a thing. But yeah, I'm like, stand up, Laura, stand up. She's a veteran. Hey. And there's like all these like older guys with their like war hats, they all got like the hat with like the infantry and stuff that they served in there. They're all just like looking at me like, you little wring your little neck, you little rascal. I got in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble for that. But it was always something dumb like that. Just me being dumb. I don't know. But I didn't mean anything by it, But yeah, I was always getting in trouble. But so that's that. But those are some good dad stories for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I still have so many more, and I'm loving this. I'm loving to keep it going. Everyone seems to enjoy it. I did want to read y'all real quick. I have a couple things I want to say. I want to read y'all a comment, and I get a lot of good comments. I promise I do read them. It's just I do try to find a balance between. Part of me is like, I never want to read comments because there is a lot of negativity there, and just for your own mental well-being, it's nice to just not, acknowledge any comments or take the time to look, because you never know when you go in to look at your comments, you never know what you're going to scroll across, and it could be something that's just really negative, and but there are so many positive ones, and I don't want to lose that connection to, I want to get that feedback and like really keep my finger on the pulse of, what you guys like and what you are enjoying, what you want more of, and what you weren't too crazy about, and that I feel like that's important to the channel, to the growth of the channel, and just, to turn this into something really, really good. And so I had a really good comment from someone named Molly, and Molly, I've seen you comment quite a bit, and there's, there are plenty of comments that I get just as nice and positive as this one. So thank you. But I did just see this one, and it says, let me see. She's basically saying, she got some merch. She just bought a V-neck ladies t-shirt in the Lux Indigo color. And she says, what the heck color is Lux Indigo? I was trying to come up with a funny dad like it or lump it style color of navy. She said, and I got a magnet too, because we do have JSP magnets at the website. And she said, so I can stick it on the back of our truck. Gotta support my favorite YouTuber, JSP. I have never, ever in my 25 years online, I have never supported anyone until you. You're gonna be big, and we believe in you. Love from Florida. thank you so much, Molly and Florida. And thank you for believing in me. But I read this. I thought it was really nice, really sweet. And I read this out loud to Ariel. And as soon as I finished, she had her eyes were watery. She was like, "Oh, baby, they're going to put you on their truck." And I was like, you're right. They are going to put me on their truck. And, that's not like a car. Not that that's not good too, but, it's one thing to get to make it on the back of someone's car, but someone's truck. Truck people, back me up on this. Truck people live, breathe, and stand by what they put on the back of their truck. So for you to be putting your JSP magnet on the back of your truck, that was touching. And that Ariel, they're gonna put you on their truck. That's amazing. I was like, you're right. That is amazing. So that's awesome. It's still so awesome to me that I've literally gotten this second chance at life and just a future and the opportunity to just move forward in a good direction. So that was awesome. Just wanted to read that to you guys. Also, I think, a lot of you guys, if you watch every episode you've been following, I am becoming somewhat of a claw machine king. Okay, claw machine king. Can't be stopped on the claw machine. I've been killing it lately. I've showed a few clips of that. Well, me and Ariel went on a date night this weekend, I think Friday. And we went to a place that had a bunch of claw machines and stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and show you this clip just to show, hey, listen, it's real, baby. I may not have been a good baseball player. I may have been known as Dribbles and later known as Speed Stick. Me, Skippy, Bubbles, and Speed Stick. But when it comes to claw machines, I am the great one. So here's a nice little clip for you.
What is it, baby?
A little mouse with teeth.
Oh my gosh, it's actually so cute. I love it.
A little mouse.
For the baby.
I know. It's a gift, but it was really cool. It was really fun there. I actually won her quite a few things. And she won me something. She won a prize for me too. So that was awesome that she got to win. And, but yeah, here's us with all our stuff. And you see this big Junior Mints thing? Well, there was a guy. It was so cool. There was a guy in there. He was like he worked there. And, he came up to us and he was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but do you make videos on the internet?" And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, "Oh man, I can't believe it." He big fan, big supporter, and definitely a viewer and really loves the stuff. And he was like, "Man, I knew that was you. So he's like, "I didn't want to interrupt," but I was like, no. I love meeting people who it's a good feeling when you meet someone and they enjoy your content and you feel like they already know you. It's not like meeting a stranger. I'm like, well, this person watches all my stuff. They have a pretty good understanding of my personality. And so if they decide that they like me and my stuff and they're coming up to say hi, well, then I feel pretty relaxed around you because I feel like, hey, you already know a good bit about me and you've decided that you like me. So I love meeting people who are just viewers of the stuff. And so that was cool. We shook hands and all that. And so another hour or so goes by and me and Ariel are about to leave out and we get a tap on the shoulder again and it's him. And he's like, "Hey," he's like, "was there anything you wanted out of this big claw machine?" The big claw machines that are basically, you just can't win. Because we did try that quite a few times and didn't win anything. And I was like, yeah, there was something I wanted out of there. So we went and he unlocked it and got me a Junior Mints thing out of there because Ariel loves Junior Mints. So we got that. So that was cool. And we took this picture. I'm only kind of blocking his face out just because I wouldn't want him to possibly get in any trouble for me saying how he did that for me. But it was really cool to meet him. He was a really, really nice guy. So that was cool. That was a fun weekend. So there's that. But yeah, guys, here I am. I had to get up early. I got up at 6:10 a.m. this morning to make sure I had this ready to go by 9 a.m. I'm going to stay with that. I know I've been slacking as far as the last episode. I had a lot of stuff going wrong with it, but we are on a schedule. Mondays, 9 a.m. EST. Make sure you tune in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you have a great Monday and a great week. And I hope this video made your Monday a little better. See you next time.